Okay, my camera's about to die and I'm about to go to school, so I need to make a really quick intro. But I'm doing this makeup look today. This is a makeup look that I wore in one of my most recent videos. I don't remember the video, but I'm gonna leave it down below. And I got a lot of requests for lip color, eye tutorial, and all that. So this is the complete look, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. So per usual, we are starting off with the eyes, and I'm using a different primer today. I'm actually not using MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. I'm using this one from Kat Von D. I've had this one in my stash for a while, but for some reason I thought it was discontinued, but it's not. I just got it on like a crazy sale. I got it for like $5 a while ago, but it's still on the Sephora website. So I'm using that to prime my eyelids, and this does have a little bit more of a yellow undertone. I like this primer because it is pretty thick, so it cancels out any redness or any veins that I have on my eyelids, and it gives me a nice solid base. And then for setting that in place, I'm using my Bare Minerals Translucent Powder Duo. It has a matte side and it also has a shimmer side, but to set my eyes, I'm using the matte side. Then we're taking some clear Scotch tape. You can use any clear tape, and this is gonna be our guideline. This makes everything a lot easier. So for this entire eye look, I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette. I'm taking the color Red Ochre and I'm placing that only on the outer V of my eyes, pretty much mainly around the crease area and a little bit lower than that. And then I'm using a blending brush to really diffuse that color. When I first pack it on, it is very pigmented, but to make it a little bit more of a transition color, I'm just blending it out. And then for my lid, I think I should have done this before the Red Ochre, but that's okay. I'm taking the really white crystal-y shade from the Anastasia Modern Renaissance palette and packing that on my lid. And then this part is key. It's pretty much packing on the product and blending it out. Packing on the product and blending it out. That's really what this look is all about. I'm just using two shades. I'm just using the Red Ochre and then the white crystal shade. I don't know the name, but it's gonna be in the description box. I'm just using those two shades for this tutorial, but what gives it a more dimensional look is, like I said, putting the product on the eyes and then blending it out. So that's really all I did to achieve like that blown out look. And then for the eyeliner part, I'm using the same color. I'm just using it on an angled brush. So I just did like a little thin winged liner, and then I applied some also on the crease. You can spray your brush with like MAC Fix Plus if you want to intensify it a little bit more, but I didn't for this look. I also packed on a little bit more of the white shade after I finished blending out Red Ochre. And then we remove the tape and you can see it gives you like a perfect sharp line, and then you just clean up any fallout. Then from there, we're applying lashes. I'm using the Creme Shop lashes. These are in the wispy style. They're very lightweight, thin, feathery lashes. I typically don't really wear like super bold lashes, but you definitely can if you want to amp up the look. And then for mascara, I'm using one of my favorites. This is the Benefit Roller Lash. It helps to curl and it also lengthens the lashes a little bit. For the complexion, I'm using the Hourglass Mineral Veil Primer. And as you can see, when I first apply it, it does kind of look like it's leaving a white cast. The reason it's like that is because it has SPF, but once we blend it out, it looks just fine. I'm also using an Artis brush dupe. These brushes look like toothbrushes, but I promise you they're makeup brushes. But I'm using my Born This Way foundation in warm beige and applying it with this brush. I pretty much put most of the foundation around my face, and then I'm gonna go in with my Real Techniques beauty sponge and tap everything into my skin. I just feel like the brush doesn't do it all for me. So to get a little bit more of like a flawless finish, I go in with the sponge just to make sure I get everything. And then to bronze up the face, I'm using the Anastasia foundation stick in the color Almond. I feel like it's the perfect color to just add a little bit more warmth and a little more dimension to my skin without making it look like I did too much. I'm blending it out with the Hourglass Vanish Seamless Foundation brush. This brush, I use it for so many different things. I use it to blend out my bronzer, I use it to blend out my concealer, I use it for foundation. This brush can be used for a lot of different things. And then for concealer, I'm using one of my newer favorites. This one is from Amazing Cosmetics and it's their Hydrate Concealer. I've already used it in a few tutorials, but this concealer has such nice coverage and it also doesn't dry out my under eyes, which I love. I do love a matte finish, but that's why I go in with my Laura Mercier translucent powder, because if I go in with a matte concealer and then a matte powder, it's just too drying underneath the eyes. And then we're just swiping off the translucent powder. And as you can see, after this, the look is actually coming together. At first, when you're just wearing the eyeshadow, it looks a little bit off, but once we start bronzing and adding concealer, foundation, everything comes together. So for setting my bronzer, I'm using the Wet n Wild palette. It comes with a banana powder and then it comes with a contour slash bronzer. And they do have two different shades in this palette. I'm using the darker one. I feel like I'm using a lot of favorites in this video, but this is one of my favorite blushes. It's from MAC and the name of this blush is Sunbask. It's such a gorgeous, warm, bronzy blush. It has a little bit of shimmer, but it's not overpowering. You can't even see the shimmer once you apply the blush, to be honest. And for the lower lash line, all I'm doing is connecting my lower lash line with the eyeshadow using the color Red Ochre and the same angled eyeliner brush that we used earlier. On the lips, I'm applying MAC Spice Lip Liner. It's like a warm tone, nudish brown on my skin tone. And then I'm going over top with Urban Decay's lipstick in 1993. This is in their old packaging, but they do have new packaging for their lipstick, but you can still find this color. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I hope it wasn't too lengthy. If you enjoyed, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on my next video. Me gustas mucho. No recuerdo lo que sucedió. Ya no pienso mantener. I always do this song in my bloopers. Pero pa' la cama, na, na, na. Ya ni me acuerdo. Y una vez dije que te amaba. Estaba loca. The music seriously gives me like chills. Come on.